Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
I just want to make sure everybody's here.
Everybody is here from Easton Utilities, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Garofalo, is Mr. Riley present?
He does not appear to be present. Let me see if I can get him.
Actually, Your Honor, we are missing one of our people, Mr. Hines. I've just received a text.
Your Honor, I messaged Mr. Riley. I wonder if you would be able to send him an invitation just in case there was a problem with that.
Sure. Let me go back and actually I'll resend it to, I do not have Mr. Hines's email address though.
I will forward it to him again. I'm gonna go make sure you receive it.
Mr. Hines. I did resend it to Mr. Riley, Ms. Garofalo. any indication that he's not gotten it?
I have not heard back from him. I just checked.
There he is. I
Okay.
saw him pop up. Great. Okay. Mr. Court Reporter, good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor. I'm ready to start when you are.
Okay. Sounds good. We can go on the record. Good morning, everybody. Today is February 17th, 2022. It is approximately 10:05 a.m. My name is Christine Burke. I'm the Public Utility Law Judge from the Maryland Public Service Commission. We're here this morning to hear two cases. Case number 9501P, which is captioned in the matter of the continuing investigation of the electric fuel cost adjustment charges of the Easton Utilities Commission, as well as case number 9502P, which is captioned in the matter of the continuing investigation of the gas fuel cost adjustment charges of the Easton Utilities Commission.
Your Honor, this is Doug. You're breaking up. Could you just get a little closer and speak?
Certainly.
I don't know why that's happening.
Better?
We'll give it a shot. Try it now.
Okay. So we're here 9501 and 9502 this morning. Can I have the appearances of counsel beginning with the company, please?
Yes, good morning, Your Honor. I'm Marta Harding. I represent Easton Utilities Commission.
Good morning. For the Office of People's Counsel.
Good morning, Your Honor. I'm Michael Sammartino. I'm on behalf of Office of People's Counsel.
Good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor. Annette Garofalo on behalf of Commission staff.
Good morning. It's okay with everybody. We'll start with 9501P and then go to 9502. I know that there is one witness overlapping. Ms. Harding, do you have anything preliminarily?
Your Honor, just one thing. I filed in the docket in this case, and I see it's reflected as docket number 149, the certificates of publication in this matter, both the newspaper publications, the website, and the Facebook post. I also provided a copy of those certificates, of course, to counsel. Would you like those? Oh, I think we lost her.
Are we there?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not sure whether I had finished by the time that you faded out. Would you like me to repeat what I just said?
My understanding is you're seeking to enter the certificates of publication.
Correct, as Company Exhibit 1.
Is there any objection to admitting Company's Exhibit 1? I believe it was 3 pages to the record.
No objection, Your Honor.
No objection, Your Honor.
Thank you. That'll be marked and admitted as the Company's Exhibit 1.
Thank you.
Ms. Harding, do you wish to call your first witness?
Yes, Your Honor. I'd like to call Steve Ochi.
Okay, Mr. Ochi, could you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is the truth? Did I freeze?
No,
I do. Sorry.
Okay, thank you. Please go ahead.
good morning. Mr. Ochi, do you have in front of you a document entitled Direct Testimony of Steve J. Ochi, Chief Financial Officer of Easton Utilities in case number 9501P, dated January 26, 2022, consisting of 6 pages of question and answer testimony and a 7-page exhibit?
I do.
And was this document prepared by you or under your direct supervision and control?
Yes, it was.
Do you have any changes to your, to this document as you sit here today?
I do not.
And if I were to ask you the questions contained in this document today, would your answers be the same?
Yes,
And do you adopt this testimony as your sworn testimony in this matter?
I do.
Okay, Your Honor, at this time, I would offer Mr. Ochi's direct testimony as Company Exhibit 2 and ask that it be admitted to evidence.
Staff has no objection.
No objection from OPC.
Thank you. Sorry, I was muted and I was talking.
Okay.
And I heard everyone else, so there's no objection to admitting Mr. Ochi's testimony as Exhibit 2. Is that correct?
Correct.
So marked and admitted.
Thank you. Mr. Ochi is available for cross-examination.
Thank you. Mr. Sammartino, do you have any questions for Mr. Ochi?
No questions from OPC, Your Honor.
Thank you. Staff? I believe you're muted.
Staff has no questions for this witness.
Thank you. Mr. Ochi, I just had one quick question, maybe two. Page 4 of your testimony, you referred to the landfill gas generator. My recollection is that still in service or was that retired in last year's case?
We have subsequently retired it, yes. And that could have been excluded from in that because we didn't have any cost, but we could have, so it was still there, but it will not be in going forward.
Okay.
But there were no costs associated with it through the FCA this past year.
Great. Thank you. And a question regard to Schedule 1 and net meter refunds, just for my information, are those given only one time a year or is it, how often are they given?
The net overage that they incur or generate is paid one time a year as per the policy.
The final question I had related to Schedule 6 and the calculation on estimated retail sales. Noted that in last year's case, there was a change in methodology, I believe it due to COVID. Can you explain why the company changed the methodology from the 2% for COVID, which is now, I believe, a 4-year average, excluding 2020?
So Easton, fortunately or unfortunately, has very little growth year over year. And so we try and take a look at a number of years that help us take out weather anomalies and blend it together. I felt like the COVID year was an anomaly. We knew that residential unit sales went up, commercial unit sales went down. So we felt it was best to exclude that year and go back to just an averaging of those 4 years, excluding that 1 year. We thought that would be fairest to, especially to the residential customers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any questions in light of my questions?
I have no questions, Your Honor.
OPC has no questions, Your Honor.
Thank you.
No questions.
Thank you, Mr. Ochi. Ms. Martin?
Yes, I will call John Hines next. Excuse me.
Mr. Hines, could you please raise your right hand? Thank you. Do you swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Hines. Do you have in front of you a document entitled "The Direct Testimony of John Edward Hines III, PE, Manager of the Electric Department of Easton Utilities, in case number 9501P, dated January 26, 2021, which we'll get to, consisting of 9 pages of question and answer testimony?"
Yes.
And was this document prepared by you or under your direct supervision and control?
Yes.
And do you have any changes that you would like to make to your testimony sitting here today?
Just the date. I mistyped that from 2021 to 2022.
Thank you. No other changes?
No.
So if I asked you the questions contained in this document today, would your answers be the same?
Yes, they would.
And do you adopt this testimony as your sworn testimony in this case?
I do.
Your Honor, at this time, I would offer Mr. Hines' direct testimony as Company Exhibit 3 and ask that it be admitted into evidence.
Is there any objection from OPC?
OPC has no objection, Your Honor.
Staff?
No objection, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Hines' testimony will be marked and entered into the record as Company's Exhibit 3.
And I'll make Mr. Hines available for cross-examination.
Thank you. Any questions from OPC?
Your Honor, OPC has no questions.
From staff?
No questions, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. And I don't have any questions for Mr. Hines either. Thank you, Mr. Hines, for appearing today.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Does that conclude your witnesses, Ms. Harding?
I'm sorry, Your Honor. Yes, it does.
Thank you. Mr. Sammartino, does OPC have any witnesses they'd like to call?
OPC has no witnesses, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Ms. Garofalo for staff?
Yes, Your Honor, staff would call Mark Riley. Morning, Mr. Riley.
Good morning, Mr. Riley. Could you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is the truth? Okay, thank you. I'm not sure if you're muted or not, but I didn't hear that, so.
I do.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Riley, do you have with you a document entitled Direct Testimony and Exhibits of Mark Riley in case 9501P that was pre-filed in this docket?
Yes, I do.
And was this document prepared by you or under your supervision?
Yes.
And do you have any changes or corrections you would like to make at this time?
No.
If you were asked the same questions today that you are asked in this testimony, would your answers be the same?
Yes.
And do you adopt this as your sworn testimony for purposes of this case?
Yes.
Your Honor, I would ask that Mr. Riley's direct testimony be marked as Staff Exhibit 1 for identification and admitted into evidence.
Thank you. Mr. Sammartino, do any objection to Mr. Riley's testimony be marked and entered as staff's Exhibit 1?
No objections from OPC, Your Honor.
Ms. Harding?
No objections, Your Honor.
Thank you. So Mr. Riley's testimony will be marked and admitted to the record as staff's Exhibit 1.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Riley is available for cross-examination.
OPC?
No questions from Mr. Riley, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Harding.
No questions.
Thank you. I don't have a question necessarily for Mr. Riley. However, I believe Mr. Mosier's here as well, that even though he didn't submit any testimony, just whether staff in general has any concerns about the company's procurement and purchasing fuel practices.
No, Kevin Mosher on behalf of staff. I do not, Your Honor.
Thank you. Any questions in light of my questions?
No, Your Honor.
I have none, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
And staff have any other witnesses?
We do not. This concludes staff's case.
Thank you. I believe that will conclude the matter of 9501P. We can now move on to the continuing investigation of 9502P, which was the Easton Utilities Commission practice gas fuel cost adjustment case. Ms. Harding already admitted into the record in 9501 the certificate of publication as Exhibit 1. Is there any objection to that being admitted in 9502P as well? I believe the notice had both cases included on it.
No objection, Your Honor.
No objection, Your Honor.
Thank you. That will be admitted for 9502P as well. Ms. Harding, would you like to call your first witness?
Yes, please, I would like to call Steve Ochi.
Mr. Ochi, you have already been sworn. If you want to go ahead, Ms. Harding, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Ochi, do you have in front of you a document entitled The Direct Testimony of Steve J. Ochi, Chief Financial Officer of Easton Utilities, in case number 9502P, dated January 26, 2022, consisting of 6 pages of question and answer testimony and a 7-page exhibit?
I do.
And was this document prepared by you or under your direct supervision and control?
It was. It just, for a point of clarification, it was this, never mind, excuse me, I was looking at the wrong page. It's, you're fine.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you, Steve.
I thought for a second that it was just a 6-page exhibit, but it is 7.
Oh, okay. Yeah, one second. Yeah, I've got 7 pages. So we're clear, it's 7 pages. We've got the same exhibit. Thank you. Do you have any changes to make to this testimony today?
I do not.
If I were to ask you the questions in this document today, would your answers be the same?
They would be.
And do you adopt this testimony as your sworn testimony in case number 9502P?
Yes, I do.
Thank you, Your Honor. At this time, I would offer Mr. Ochi's direct testimony as Company Exhibit 2 and ask that it be admitted.
Oh, OPC, any objection to Mr. Ochi's testimony?
No objections, Your Honor.
Staff?
No objections from staff, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Ochi's testimony, 7 pages, will be entered into the record as Easton's Exhibit 2.
And Mr. Ochi is available for cross-examination.
OPC, any questions?
No questions, Your Honor.
Staff?
Staff has no questions for this witness, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Ochi, I had one point of clarification with regard to page 4 and the FERC case that was filed for the Columbia Gas rate case. The rates that were passed through to customers, I believe you indicated on page 4, it's line 10 to 13. Will there be a refund to customers in the next review period? I understand that the settlement occurred at the end of this review period.
That is correct.
Okay.
There will be a calculated refund.
Uh-oh.
Mm. Good thing she's not on Easton Utilities.
Am I back?
Yes,
Okay, great. Sorry about that.
understand.
Appreciate everybody's patience. Must be my connection. Okay, so Mr. Ochi's testimony was entered and we can proceed with your next witness.
I think I just was gonna make Mr. Ochi, oh no, I'm sorry, we were done with no cross-examination. Yeah,
I asked my questions. I don't have any other
gotcha,
questions.
okay. So our last witness, or our second and last witness, is Mr. Jim Crowley.
Good morning, Mr. Crowley.
Morning.
Could you please raise your right hand? Swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is the truth.
Yes.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Crowley. Do you have in front of you a document entitled Direct Testimony of James P. Crowley, Manager of the Gas Department of Easton Utilities, in case number 9502P, dated January 26, 2022, consisting of 11 pages of question and answer testimony?
Yeah.
And was this testimony prepared by you or under your supervision and control?
Yes, it was.
Do you have any changes to make to this testimony today?
You're not.
If I were to ask you the questions in this document today, would your answers be the same?
It would.
And do you adopt this testimony as your sworn testimony in case number 9502P?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Your Honor, at this time, I would offer Mr. Crowley's direct testimony as Company Exhibit 3 and ask that it be admitted into evidence.
OPC, any objection to Mr. Crowley's testimony?
No objections from OPC, Your Honor.
No objections, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Crowley's testimony will be admitted as Easton's Exhibit 3.
And at this time, I would offer Mr. Crowley for cross-examination.
OPC, any questions for Mr. Crowley?
Yes, Your Honor. OPC has just a few questions.
Okay.
Good morning, Mr. Crowley.
Morning.
So if you could please refer to page 10 of your testimony around line 13. Let me know when you're there.
I'm there.
Okay, thank you. So regarding Easton's efforts to mitigate the effects of recent gas price increases on its customers, you state Easton continued to follow its gas purchasing schedule as outlined in its ERM policy throughout 2021, which allowed us to flow our previously purchased storage gas and forwards purchase gas and not participate in the NYMEX first of the month index pricing. You go on to state that by doing so, your weighted average cost of gas for your customers was not affected by the $5.50 and higher NYMEX pricing. Mr. Crowley, are you aware that since March 2021 and throughout the 2021 injection season, first of the month index prices progressively increased through November 2021, and at one point they were higher than $5.50?
Yes, I am.
And Mr. Crowley, how did those higher market prices affect your storage purchases over the summer?
We actually purchase our storage injection volumes at a eco appellation price point and not at NYMEX first of the month pricing. Therefore, our storage injection gas was not affected by the first of the month NYMEX pricing.
Okay, thank you. And so I'm asking because, as I understand it, historically you purchase storage gas in the summer months when the prices tend to be lower. So in light of the progressive price increases, and what impact do you expect that those higher storage prices will have on the weighted average cost of gas for the current December 2021 through November 2022 period? And will you, looking forward to next summer, do you anticipate following the same procurement practices as you did this past year?
Sorry, Mr. Sammartino, could you please repeat your questions?
I'm sorry. So my question, just in light of these progressive price increases throughout the summer, what impact do you expect those higher storage prices will have on the weighted average cost of gas for the current December 2021 through November 2022 period?
If there are indeed increased gas prices and purchase increased gas prices compared to previous years, that will increase our weighted cost of gas in storage inventory. And as that gas is withdrawn and flow to our customers through the winter month, there will be an impact to our customers. We flow about a third of our daily winter flow from storage. Our energy risk management policy layers in not only the hedge volumes that we purchase throughout the year, but also storage withdrawals, as well as daily swing gas. So it'll be blended into whatever the weighted cost of gas is for that month.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Crowley. Your Honor, OPC has no further questions.
Thank you.
Your Honor, staff has no questions for this.
No questions. Thank you. Mr. Crowley, I just had briefly the page 6 regarding the FERC settlement. I believe it was lines 11 through 19. There was initially, I guess, as filed earlier on page 6, the impact would have added $145,000 in costs. I'm assuming the settlement rates resulted in a better outcome for Easton.
Correct.
Okay. And you noted that there would be a $40,000 increase and then a yearly incremental increase occurring. Is there an end date to that yearly incremental increase as part of the settlement?
Part of the settlement, PECO has to, there's a comeback period identified in the settlement where TECO will have to file another rate case. And at that time, these phase increases will be reconciled. Yes, there is an end date identified.
Do you know what that is?
Not off the top of my head. I can follow up with you with that information.
Okay, thank you. Also, just quickly, will the your AMA is set to expire, I believe, next year. When will Easton start the RFP process for the new AMA?
We'll start the RFP process in September of this year, understanding that it takes time to create the RFPs, identify prospective bidders, and go through the process so we are prepared for next year, April 2023, when we would be starting with either a new asset manager or continuing our current agreement with our current.
And do you anticipate any changes to the RFP process for the AMA?
I do not. I think it'll be primarily the same process, the same format. We most likely will continue to look into the natural gas market as additional products are being identified. Understanding that natural gas is being heavily looked at across the country for any number of reasons, and there may be other instruments to bring natural gas into Easton, whether it's reliably sourced natural gas or some other form of natural gas. Continuing to look at our environmental impact and also realizing that we believe that natural gas is indeed a clean, reliable source of energy.
Thank you, Mr. Crowley. I don't have any other questions.
And I have no follow-up, Your Honor. So that completes Easton's witnesses in case 9502.
Thank you. OPC, do you have any evidence or witnesses to call?
No, we don't, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Garofalo?
Yes, Your Honor. Staff would call Mr. Mark Riley. Good morning again, Mr. Riley.
Good morning.
Do you have with you a document in this case, which is 9502, entitled Direct Testimony and Exhibits of Mark Riley.
Yes.
And was this document, which was pre-filed in this case, prepared by you or under your supervision?
Yes.
Do you have any changes or corrections you would like to make at this time?
No.
If you were asked the same questions today that are contained in your direct testimony, would your answers be the same?
Yes.
So, Your Honor, I would, and do you adopt this as your sworn testimony in this case?
Yes.
Your Honor, I ask this document be marked as Exhibit 1 for identification in case 9502 and admitted into evidence.
Any objection from OPC
No, Your Honor.
and Ms. Harding?
No objection, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Riley's testimony will be marked and admitted into the record as staff's Exhibit 1 in case 9502P.
Thank you, Your Honor. The witness is available for cross-examination.
Any questions from OPC?
No questions, Your Honor.
Ms. Harding?
No questions.
Thank you. I again have a similar question with regard to Easton's gas procurement practices. Is there any concern from staff that the current practices are unreasonable or non-competitive?
Your Honor, Mr. Baker is here on the issue of procurement.
And Mr. Baker, could you just identify yourself for the record, please?
Yes, my name is Benjamin Baker, Director of Gas, Water, and Telecommunications at the Maryland Public Service Commission. And no, we do not at this time.
Thank you. I do not have any other questions for Mr. Riley.
Thank you, Your Honor. May the witness be excused.
Yes, unless anybody else has questions in light of my questions.
No.
None from OPC, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. And if there's no other witnesses, staff, your case is finished.
Yes, we have no other witnesses.
Thank you. Thank you. This will conclude today's matter. There will be a proposed order shortly. I appreciate everybody's cooperation in today's hearing, and look forward to seeing you all again soon, maybe in person. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Your Honor.
We can go off the record, Doug.
Nice to see everyone.